This is Access Chapter 9 training video. We're up to step 17. So we left off in the subform, and we were supposed to save and close the subform, and that would return us back to this main form. But I wanted to draw your attention to the fact that the subform looks empty. And so what you really just need to do is refresh this. So usually what I do is save and close and come back open to it. So that's back to this add lessons in design view. And then our form gets there. You can also just refresh. It's just nothing to panic about when that comes up and it's blank. It's because you opened it another window. So Access needs you to confirm that you need that this is the new view, right? Because there's our fields we just put in there. Okay, so in design view, add a text box control to the detail section. So we're talking about this section of the main form below the phone number control at the 1-inch vertical. Okay, so we can do that. So we know we come up to our controls, which is in design. This one that has the A, B, and the line is the text box. We're going to click on it, let go, bring down here, and I'm just going to be right at that 1 inch, and I'm going to draw something. Okay. Below phone number at the 1 inch vertical. Okay, sounds good. So we got that done. Perfect. In the property sheet pane and on the data tab, click the control source. Okay, so here we put this unbound control, and now we have to link it to something. Otherwise, it's just going to be an empty box. There's not going to be anything in it. So we need to go to the property sheet. And remember, when you want to link a text box to something, then it's easiest to go to data and then control source. So I'm going to zoom here so you can see this. So the formula is FRM add lessons subform, right? So that's the name of the form of the object that contains, and it is a form, right? So this is the name of it, and this is the type of object. Then this is the delimiter between where we're saying the object, whether it's the table, in this case it's a form, and then the information or the field. So we want it to be lesson count. And remember, back up here, when we did this count for scheduled day, we named it lesson count. Remember, it was like, I don't know, text 6 or something like that. Well, you have no way of remembering that. So if you make those controls something meaningful, then you can do that. Let me show you the other way. So that was to zoom it. The other way is to use the ellipses, and I'm going to get rid of this. And so some students like to do this better because it's more visual. You don't have to type it. So we're working on this form add lessons. And look at the plus sign here. That means there's more controls. So if I click on that, look, there's the subform. So if I click on the subform over here, so I use this to pick the object. Then in this middle piece, right, it has all of the controls. So we want to find lesson count, right? And so then I can just double click. And look, it added it without me having to type it in. So I'm going to do that one more time for you. I went to the ellipses and I brought up the expression builder. Over on the left, I navigate to the subform. Once I click on the subform in the left, the expression categories are going to show all of the objects on the subform. I then just need to go through and find whatever I want, which is lesson count, and I'm just going to double click, and it puts it in there. So now we're saying that this is pulling whatever the count was from this subform. So that's good. We did that. We did that in a couple different ways. Change the name of the control to lesson count. So I'm going to go to all name lesson count. Lesson count. Okay. Then we're going to click on the label where right now it says text 50, and we're going to make the caption, or what you're seeing, lesson space count. Okay. So that's what this box is showing, lesson count. All right, so we have all of 17 done. All right, so we're going to add another text box control that's going to bring the fee total. Okay, so I'm going to close this up for a minute. At the 4-inch. Okay, so I made this one a little bit too wide because it's going over 4. So I'm going to click on this and bring this back. Maybe to there. Because this is saying I want to put another one at the 4-inch line. So up here is our marker, 4-inch. So we follow that line down. This is where we want to end it. And then it has to have the label to the left, right? So that's why I pulled that back. Okay, so we go up to our control, we pick our text box, we come down, we're not dragging, we're just moving, and I'm just going to click and drag. I got this a little bit. Okay, so we have our unbound control. See, this one's got a formula in it, so now we have to do that same thing here. We've got to go to Property Sheet, Data, Control Source. Let's do it through the ellipses, through our expression builder. So we know we want to pull a field from the subform. So we're going to click on subform, and then we're going to look through here and figure out which of these we're pulling. Well, we want the fee total. So I'm going to double click on fee total, and it puts that in there. And I don't have to worry about putting it in the right order. Okay? So I'm going to click OK, and it puts it in there. I'm going to go to all. So let's see, we got that. Now we want to change the name of the control. So the name is going to be total fees, all together, no space. And then the label, which is kind of overlaying here, we're going to fix that in a minute. The label caption is going to be total space fees. Okay, so we're done with that. And for now, I'm going to move this. I'm not exactly sure what's going to end up, but I want to just move this control. So if I go to move, they move as a pair, but if I go to this little box at the corner, I'm able to move that box kind of unlinked with the control that it's in, right? See, if I do that, they go together. But if I go to the little box, I can move them independent. Okay, so we did all of 18. And I think I'm going to stop there. So we did 17 and 18. I'm going to pick up 19 in the next movie. Thank you.